Hi, this is Vic Armstrong, your host for the Strong Talk podcast. Thank you for joining me for part one of our two-episode conversation with Emmy Award-winning actor and comedian JB Smoove. In this first episode, JB and I will discuss his journey in becoming one of the most recognizable faces and voices in Hollywood, including dealing with the mental and emotional pressure of being a celebrity. I hope you enjoy the conversation.
Hey, good to talk to you today, Vic, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I want to get right into this because I have to tell you, ever since I was at your show, and it's been at least a year or so ago, you had the physical therapy tour.
Yes.
Which I saw in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was either Raleigh or Durham, but I remember thinking at the end of that show how I just felt so light, so much better. I mean, after I got over the pain in my side from laughing, I remember thinking, this is therapeutic for me. I walked out feeling like I was able to leave for the couple of hours I was there. I was able to leave all my cares behind. But I also can't help but think about the fact that, there's so many more layers to you and what you do.
Yeah.
I get to see you as a comedian on stage. We all see the JB Smoove who's, all put together. You always have on your hat. You're always dressed nice.
Mr. Put Together.
Mr. Put Together. But it's got to be more to it than that. Talk to me a little bit about what goes into the process of putting together the JB Smoove that we know.
Oh man, there's so many levels to this, man. It's my career. I like windows. I like levels. I like to go because I think we all are in a particular place in different parts of our time here on this planet. And I like to, when I'm diving into, let's say I do a tour.
Yeah.
I like to dive into the tour based on where I'm at myself. That's why my names and my tours are so different. They all are so different, but they all have the same base, meaning I think I'm a know-it-all. I truly think I'm a know-it-all, but I think I'm a know-it-all to the point where I can drive a different vehicle to get to you. You know what I mean? It's just like this. It's like a way of wrapping it up and putting a bow on it in a certain way. So let's just say I've had my ruckus tour, I've had my profanity tour, I've had my lollygagging tour. I had so many different tours, no questions, just answers tour. And then my physical therapy tour, because I've always been a physical comedian. I love physicality because it gives you two things. Mm-hmm. Remember growing up in school, we had CSA, not CSA. Some people see things first, and then they say it. Mm-hmm. I say it, and then you see it. So I paint the picture, I set it up, and then I act it out because that gives me another way of communicating with my audience. And visual comedy is just as powerful as a little more daring than just verbal comedy because, whether it's a physical bit where I got to get off the ground or what, that bit got to work. That bit got to work because you got to get back off the ground or you got to, get yourself back straight again because you did a physical bit. Whether you're running in place, whether you're laying on the stool, whether you're sitting in a chair weird, whether you're carrying stuff, you're making things appear that are not there. Right. So sometimes that visual form of comedy gives you another layer of people to laugh at. And what they say in comedy is if you can laugh at the premise, you're going to laugh at the premise.
But the other thing that comes to mind for me when you do that, there's vulnerability in there because you're putting yourself out there. I mean, it's one thing to say something and hope that it resonates. When you add physicality to it, you are really opening yourself up to scrutiny and vulnerability, which is usually not something that we generally like to do.
Right. It's definitely a challenge, but my job is really daring as far as what I do because I write on stage. So people write their bits, they write them down, they figure it out how they're going to do it, and they try it out over and over again, and they just do it how it's written. That's a more robotic style. My style is more, I'm going to write it on stage based on, what I hear back. The energy I hear back from the audience forces me to make you laugh more. So I build it while it's on stage, which is challenging, but it also puts you in the moment with your audience. You're in the moment together. And every show's a little different because you're going to get back certain things from different audiences. Right. So for me, it's a challenge, but there's nothing better than saying something for the first time and being in the moment with people because and letting them know that, look, this, I might do this bit, but it will never be exactly how I did it tonight. Yeah. And that's a challenge.
Yeah. So how did you even know you wanted to do this? When did you first know that you were funny, for one? Because I will tell you, you are one of the folks that is just naturally funny. Yeah. It doesn't come across like it's a process. It comes across as this is who I am and I'm sharing myself with you. How did you know you had that gift?
You know what? I think you had to be a fan first of humor and comedy and individuals that inspired you. You got to be a fan first, and then you get inspired by those people, those unique comedians. But I say this also, comedians, we are inspired more by, just as much as we are inspired by individuals who do what we do, we're also inspired by everything in life because we have to be able to talk about all things, in the world and in life. That's what makes it connect to people, relatable to our audience. So I everything influenced me as a kid growing up and made me laugh. I got really lucky with friends who weren't troublemakers. I got really lucky with the crowd I was with. I got really lucky being around other funny people. Although they are hilarious, they would never get on stage. Right. They would never do what I do, but they are freaking naturally characters and funny people. So for me, I was inspired by a lot of cool people, man, including, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, and Carlin, and all these amazing comedians. That motivated me to want to do this. And it really taught me how to be in the moment. And I was always the first person to dance at parties, always the one to get people going, the cheer up person, cheer you up. I think me personally, I think some people have this high tolerance for pain. And you gotta have somewhat of a bad memory. Because when you're doing something unique like this, you're going to have a bad night somewhere, or a bad night, maybe not a bad night to them, but to you, you can do better, and that your intention was to do this, and somehow you missed something or you had to change it up. But that is all a part of building what we do as a stand-up and as acting. In order to be a great actor, you got to have a great director who's going to allow you to be you and let you do what you do very well, but give me a little rope. Give me a little rope and let me make this character my own. All that plays a big part in it. So for me, I was inspired by so many people and so many things about life. But I also fell a lot, and I just know how to get up and dust myself off. And I can erase things from my brain quick. And I know how, and it fuels me for my next show, my next project, or next movie, or next TV show, or whatever. It's seen.
You mentioned, you mentioned Richard Pryor, Red Fox, George Carlin. One of the things that we also know about comedians, we think about somebody like Robin Williams, that there are things going on behind the scenes, oftentimes that comedians deal with, and all we see is the smiles, we see the laughter, we see the physical comedy. We don't always know what's going on inside. Can you talk a little bit about that balance of having to go on stage and be happy and cheerful for everybody else when you might not be feeling it?
Yeah. Comedians have this, I always say comedians have this unique filtration system. I use filtration because, You take everything that someone's ever been through to a comedian and a singer. You know who does that well? Comedians and Western singers. They get their heart broken and all they got left is their damn dog. You know what I mean? And they'll sing about that dog, man, a whole song about a dog. And all they're saying is they lost their woman and all they got left is the dog. The song ain't really about the dog. The song is about a broken heart. And that's all they got left.
Yeah.
Who ain't leave them and is faithful to them. You know, and that's kind of what comedians have to do. You know, I always say that if you take away the comedian, right? Let's just say the world went total PC and comedians were pushed to the underground and we had to perform in speakeasies, you know, like Prohibition back in the days, you know what I mean? Where the comic ran out of here. And we don't want the comic's voice because they're too honest. They're too brutally honest for the world. And we're too PC and we don't want to hear that stuff, you know? And they outlawed comedy, you know? You think about that all the time. But imagine a world where there was no other option. All you had was the real news. All you had was the real take on people and whatever they were going through. That's all you had. You had no other switch there that allowed you to have these levels to life, you know? And I think that's the one thing that I've been blessed with is to be able to take real circumstances, real things, and make it relatable to people. And that's the number one thing for comedians, is to be relatable to you. You know, and you come back, see that guy over and over again. Now, and we have our dark moments too. You know, I lost a lot of comedy friends, man. A lot of us, man. You know, comics typically don't eat right. You know, they up late. Some of them smoke cigarettes. Some of them use drugs. Some of them use alcohol. You know, and some of that stuff is just as dangerous as not getting enough sleep every night. And all that is a big issue. But I say a comedian, for that laughter, for that feel of being on stage, they sacrifice themselves to make you happy and make you laugh. But it's also therapeutic for them too. Yeah. You know, because a lot of times when they're doing their jokes, those things are rooted somewhere in reality. But to speak it outward helps them to, you know, function and function every night. You know, some comedians do 3 or 4 shows a night. They'll just bounce, especially in New York City, they'll bounce from club to club to club to club to club. Yeah. And they'll just do it. They'll be up all night. They'll go to bed 2, 3 in the morning. You know?
So is there a support system among comedians? Is there a support system? Do you all like support each other? Can you
I think when we call up? Yeah, when we all get together, I feel like, you know, I can't say that comedians don't want each other to win, but I can say that it's a competitive place to be. It's even more competitive now based on, you know, social media. People post funny stuff all day long. Some of these people are not even comedians. They're just funny people. And now, you know, it changes the game a little bit. You know, there's a professional comedian and then there's people who are just hilarious, you know, and they, you know, and I do think you have to have that support system a little bit, because what it does is it allows you to keep going. You know what I mean? And that could be anything. That could be a reference to another show you could do, a club here and there, a role you could that it ain't for me, but that fits you. You know what I mean? It could be that moment. I've done that several times. I say, you know, I'm to the point. This is where I'm at now. I've been doing it so long that I'm to the point where now, you know, a friend of mine, they'll take a screenshot of a script and they'll say, you know, this character walks into the room. Think JB Smoove. You know what I mean? And that's when you know you've been doing it. And you've been doing it on a certain level consistently for a long time. So I know I'm one to do that. I'm one to feed things to people that, you know, I can't do or I don't want to do. Or I see, you know, I'm also very good at casting. So my brain, and timing and things like that. Little things that people forget about that also help in helping someone else's movement and help them keep going. You know, I'll say, man, I know I can't do it, but you know who would be really funny in this role? Him, her. You know what I mean? And that thing, that's that handing that baton off. You know what I mean?
Right.
That baton, man. Sometimes you gotta hand it off. You know, and a lot of times it works out perfectly because you see something different. But we should have more of a support system. I'm sure you guys have seen beefs online and beefs on shows where comedians are beefing with each other. A lot of times they're beefing over stuff that's 20, 30 years old, which is crazy. But it's not going to change anything now, you know. But you know, a gripe is a gripe. You know what I mean? And if it affected you, it affected you.
But here's the thing, you know, it happens. It's a part of life. But for people in show business, it happens publicly. Yeah, so we all see it playing, and that's got to be hard when your life is such a public life that you can't walk through an airport, you can't go to a restaurant without people. You know, they like you, they love you, but they still want a piece of you. They want to be close to you. They want a piece of your time. So, you know, and I think about like the character. What are the characters you best known for? Leon. Leon is a character who says whatever is on his mind when it comes to mind. In reality, we can't always do that. What do you do? How do you cope when you are carrying something that's heavy, or you know, I don't feel like going on stage tonight. Yeah. What do you do for your own mental well-being?
You know, I get it more when I'm going to work. I think it's different. You know, you because there's different levels. You got to get makeup on. You got to get your wardrobe on. You got to read your script. You got to talk to your co-stars. It's more levels to it. Now, when you apply that to your life, say you're walking through the airport and you got stuff on your mind. You're not working. You're in private mode.
Right.
And someone who's a fan stops you and says, "Hey, man, I'm a big fan. Man, I love your work, man. You know, you got me through a whole lot when my mom was sick, or you got me through a whole lot when I was failing in college. I needed something to pick me up a little bit. And man, you made me laugh. You made me forget about my problems. And it really helped me get through a challenging time in my life." Right. Now that right there is deep. You got to put whatever you're going through to the side and say, "Hey, man, I'm happy I was there for you. I'm happy that you got something out of what I do." And it helps me so much knowing that I'm helping you. You know, that's different. You know, that's more what I deal with mostly, because you go to the airport, you're not thinking about work. You're thinking about where you got to go at, what you're doing. You could be going on vacation and you might be overworked. You're like, "I've been working for 3 or 4 months straight. I just want to go somewhere and relax." And also you get stopped in the airport, or you're sitting next to somebody on the flight and they proceed to talk to you the whole flight. You're like, "Oh, one time I got on the flight, man, I ain't gonna lie. I sat in that seat. I said, all I kept talking about walking through the airport was, I can't wait. I'm so tired. I just want to sit down, put that seat back. Woo! I don't even want a meal. Don't even bring me nothing to eat. I'm good. I'm gonna put my feet up. I'm gonna put that seat back. I'm gonna be out the whole flight. Get in that seat, man. Get comfortable. Soon the next person comes, your person sitting next to you, and hey, and it's like, damn it. And I talked to a guy one time, 5 hours, man, all the way from LA to New York, man. We had a good convo. Yeah. In reality, I just wanted to put my head back, go to sleep so bad, man. Yeah. So bad. Yeah. We talked the whole flight, man. About everything, man. Everything. Yeah. But imagine what
they did for him, though.
Huh?
For him, it probably did a lot for him. I mean, he probably was on cloud 9, going home telling his.
Oh yeah, they're excited. Yeah, they're excited on cloud 9. This is the person they always wanted to meet. But you sacrifice those moments,
right?
Especially when people are talking about things that matter to them, that shape them. And sometimes you get into a convo that's not even about business. It's not even about what you do. It's just about people.
Right.
And that to me is the most connected you can be with a person. When they open up to a person they just like to see perform on TV, give them everything.
Yeah.
Everything. No matter what they're going through, they give it to you. Their kids, problems with their kids, their wife, their job. They're not happy where they are. And it's like, how do you apply what you do to that? You gotta, that's when you gotta turn off what you do and turn on what you do. You know what I mean? It's like weird. It's a weird, weird process, but you turn on your personal, who your person is.
Right.
Based on a character off TV, that's not real. That's a character. You know, and I don't like people to mix the two up. But sometimes that happens too. Hey, Leon! I'm like, oh, shoot.
Damn
it, you got me. Damn it, you got me.
But then they expect you to go into full Leon mode then when they call you Leon.
Yeah, it's hard being in Leon mode.
Yeah. I don't think you can say that all the time.
You can't. It's impossible to be that dude every day, man. That dude right there is a unique character who lives day to day. He don't know what he gonna say and what he gonna do.
Yeah.
But I think there is. But when you really think about it, there is something to that. It's something to being impenetrable. Someone who is oblivious to the BS of the world. He's really, you can't beat a guy like that.
Right.
Because he doesn't, we always use that term, he don't know no better. But sometimes not knowing no better, people can survive on that because you're not affected by so much.
Right.
You're almost oblivious to anything negative or anything that can hold you back.
Right.
You find a way to move through all that. And I think some way that's kind of useful if you think about it. If you can have that kind of personality and you are able to really not be affected by anything, and you can find a way to get through it. I always say that character, if the world ended tomorrow, right? And they dropped the big one hit and destroys the whole country, right? And you see from the satellite, the camera zooms down and the earth is ravaged by nuclear war. And all of a sudden you see a kid's baby pool upside down. And you put that camera on it and it wiggles a little bit. And so, what's that? And then you see Leon jump out of the baby pool. He has survived the apocalypse by hiding under a baby pool. You would say, that dude is the smartest thing I've ever seen in my life. He did it under a baby pool and lived.
That's got to be a little bit therapeutic, though. Because that's got to be almost like an escape when you get to be that character that, just doesn't care. It's almost like the honey badger. He just don't care.
You can't. Because people need to see a person like that can exist.
Yeah.
And everybody knows somebody like that. And you're kind of envious of that person. Because you'll be sitting there just drowning in your damn issues and problems and whatever you've been through throughout your life. You'll be sitting there like,
yeah,
dang it, how does this dude function in this world like this? I'm sitting here overwhelmed by the world, by my life, by things I didn't accomplish throughout my life. How did I get here? And how did that guy get like that? Where he just say, whatever, throw it at me. I got it.
Yeah.
Throw it at me. I don't care if it's hot. I got it. I don't care if it's slippery. I'm going to catch it. Just throw it to me. Watch me. And they find some way to do it. And some people just, I think it's hard. It's just hard for some people to find that.
Yeah. But you also, so you've got, a lot of people don't know, you're an Emmy Award winning actor.
Yep.
You're a writer. You were a writer for Saturday Night Live for a while.
Yeah.
You do a lot of voiceovers for a lot of different shows. My kids here, they heard you on the Smurfs one time. Now, I know that voice. But you do all these different things, which all pull, they all pull in your creativity, but they're all like different layers to who JB Smoove is. That's a lot, though. You know, how do you merge all those different worlds of all the different things that you do and not lose yourself in it?
You know what I did? The first thing I did was when I started doing stand-up, the first thing I ever did was I took an improv class because I felt like an improv class will allow me to find myself on stage, but also be able to find myself, period. Because, you know, there's a certain set of rules that apply to improv. And I recommend anybody, no matter what you do in life, take an improv class. Because the ability to change gears, the ability to change your mind in mid-flow, and also read people is part of improv. You can read their energy. You can change your thought quickly based on their mannerisms, based on their, you know, how they change their tone.
Right.
And you can say, oh, okay, he just changed his tone a little bit. Let me change it up too. So let me adjust myself in the moment, right? Using my personality, using my improv skills, and I could be able to do anything. And I tell anybody, real estate, you do real estate. Imagine being able to read a person that you're trying to sell a home to and standing without them telling you what they're looking for in a house.
Right.
You know, a simple lets you know that they're intrigued by something in that house. Or a shake of the head means, oh, they don't like that bathroom. That bathroom got that damn carpet on the floor. You know damn well you're supposed to have no damn carpet in the bathroom anyway. You're supposed to have a little rug maybe, not carpet all over the damn floor. You know what I mean? That's little things that help you.
Right.
So for me, being able to do those different things, it makes me well-rounded in my field. Meaning, I'm not stuck doing one thing over and over and over again because that's all I do. So the phone only rings for one thing. So I told all my friends when I first started doing stand-up in Uptown Comedy Club in New York, and I started to get some heat. I told all my friends, because I did background work, I did everything, man. And I wasn't too cocky to say, "Oh, I ain't never doing background," or "I ain't never did this." I was open to everything.
What is background work? What does that mean?
Background work means it's a scene, but you could be back there drinking coffee, reading the paper, walking by holding a girlfriend's hand, driving by, anything. You are in that shot, but you are not. You don't have no lines. You just in the scene. You just a space filler. You know what I mean? Well, I did that. Right. I did all that stuff. But I always told my friends, I said, "Look, man. For some reason, I had insight in my own movement as to I'm always a few years ahead in my thoughts, because I truly believe you got to see what's coming in order to be ready when you get to that point. The world keeps going. It's going to be another plateau, another 3 to 5 year plateau after you get there, but at least when you get to that moment, that timeline, you're already in that timeline now because you thought about it 3 or 4 years ago. What might happen? If you can do that in business and you can do that in entertainment, you are always going to be ahead of the game. Right? Like nobody knew that social media was going to blow up like this. But everybody kind of had an inkling based on technology is going to always keep growing. Yeah, and you got to realize we watch. No, I say too. Nothing. It's good, but it's bad. Have you ever seen an old movie about the future? You know what I mean? Watch an old movie about the future. You will find a whole lot about your timeline you're living in right now. Hell, the Jetsons was made in the 60s. They had moving sidewalks, computers, a robot. They had microwaves. They had everything in the Jetsons.
They were FaceTime.
Told you that things have always been here. It's just a matter of what they plan on giving to you.
That's right.
If you can handle having all that stuff, if they feel like you can't be responsible enough to drive a flying car, you ain't gonna get no damn flying car. Your kids might be flying around in a damn flying car, but you personally ain't gonna get one. So I always told my friends, I said, "Look, man, do a bunch of different things. Don't just do this. Don't just be eager to get on stage all the time. I said, look, right now, I mean, while my friends were just doing stand-up, I was doing background. I was doing commercials. I was doing speaking engagements. I was just trying to do everything that made me well-rounded. I was doing voiceover work. Man, I was doing all that stuff because that means I got 5 or 6 different jobs. When I worked at SNL, you know what I did? I went for cast member. I didn't get cast member. I made it. I was one of the last 3 people. We did our NBC test, NBC camera test. I did everything. Me, Kenny Thompson, and Finesse Mitchell were the last 3. Did the audition, did it at NBC, went back to LA. I said, hope I get it. Lauren Michaels called me personally and said, oh, JB, it's my Lauren Michaels impression. Oh, we love you very much, JB. You're very funny. Very, very funny, JB. Very funny. But we decided to go with Kenan and Finesse. We love you very much and wanted to find out if you'd like to come in and possibly be a writer on the show. And I sat there and said, damn. I said, let me call you back. Because I had a little deal on the table in Cali. I said, oh, can I call you back? I've been running by my wife. I was like, God dang it, man. And I sat there like, damn, do I take this damn job? But if you have a purpose in your mind why you took it, it clears your mind, your thought pattern. That means you can go in there 100%. But if you're on the fence and you can't go into a job like that 50% or 30% in your mind is saying yes, and the other 70% or 50% is saying, man, why we do this? You know what I'm saying? You got to be gung-ho when you get there. Otherwise, you're sunk. So I ended up calling him back and saying, you know what? It's going to look, in my brain, I said, this is going to look good on my resume. That means I'm thinking 3 to 5 years ahead. Right. I'm thinking about after I leave here, how it's going to look on my resume. That's what I'm thinking about. So I wanted to I wanted to use those 3 to 5 years to better myself and use this opportunity for later. Like a squirrel in the wintertime when he's hiding them damn acorns. He's hiding his acorns in the winter so he can eat. He wants to hide them during the summer so he can eat in the winter. That's what I do all the time. Right. Because I feel like I got enough other things that I do well that I can survive the winter. So when I got there, I had a writing job. I did warm up for the show. I was in monologues here and there. I was in sketches here and there. And downstairs, Conan O'Brien was still at NBC. I already had a relationship with him. And his head writer was a guy who I'd done shows with and movies with already. So they found out I was upstairs writing on SNL. And they would call up there at least once a week and say, hey, Lauren, can we borrow JB? We know he's up there writing. We got some sketches we're doing on air. And I got a chance to be on the Conan O'Brien show maybe 10, 11 times. That's crazy. Yeah. We're in the same building. So that's 5 things that I got a chance to do, you know, including my job. Right. So that's what I mean by all those unique things that you mentioned. Those are all windows and pockets of a career. Yeah. And if you can, going back to the old school style, if you can go there, get there early, stay late, all the little things that matter outside of entertainment as you're applying to your job, you end up getting a job from a job. Yeah. So they say all the time. They say, look, a woman don't want you until they see you with somebody else. They don't want your tired, single self. They want that dude right there. That girl dressed nice. She got a nice car. They got a nice house. I'm gonna mess up that. I don't want this dude over here hanging in the club. I want that dude right there. He's established. That's what the same thing you apply to career. Right. You apply the same thing to career, and that's why growth is important.